Welcome aboard.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today's video is going to be awesome because we're out at my dream jumps at the pasture for the first time in about 3 months. The last time we're out here, it was the sort of end of autumn, start of winter. We tarped everything up, and luckily over winter, pretty much all the tarps have stayed on. The electric fence has worked, no sheep have got in, the water damage isn't as bad as it was last year, and I'm overall pretty stoked. And really quickly, I want to give a massive shout out to Richie Rancic, because he actually came out here with me about a month ago before I went on holiday to Canada to help me fix all the tarps after the heavy wind, so I really appreciate that. And so the plan for today's video, at the date of filming this, is the end of August, which marks the end of winter and the sort of start of spring, and things are already starting to dry up a little bit, and it's sort of perfect conditions to start fixing stuff. So today is going to mark the first episode of season 2 of the Building My Dream Jump series, and to start off with that, what we're going to do is this episode is going to be all about fixing everything up, getting everything riding from the berm down to here. We're going to leave the spine, the pump bumps. We're getting a digger in soon from South and Hard to fix those up and change it. But what we're going to do to start today's episode is, over winter it has been very, very windy, and so because of that, the resi had to be moved around and readjusted. It's a bit of a mess right now. So to start off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the weights off the resi, peel the mat back, reposition the mattresses, and I've got some more pegs to peg the mattress in place, get this thing fixed and ready to ride. So let's jump into the first time lapse in quite a while. It's going to be a sick day. Sweet guys, that is the first job on the list done. The resi is all reset. Really happy with how I was able to rearrange the mattresses and putting those extra pegs in, so I think it'll stop it slipping down. And talking about slipping, like, this was a crazy slip and slide readjusting this thing. Like, I'd be walking up, I'd slide down, I got super muddy, like all over myself, but real stoked to have it done. Like, this jump is definitely my favorite one here, because it's just such a lower consequence if you crash in the mattresses. And I was pretty chuffed that I was able to readjust the back as well and pull the back to where it was. It slipped forward a wee bit, and just, yeah, real happy I was able to do that on my own, because that mat is heavy and it was slippery. What we're going to do next is we're going to transition into the long and low. So what I want to fix first is a straight long and low. So that is the one that goes straight over the fence. You drop in straight down the fence line. So if this is fixed, that means as soon as there's a couple dry days, we can start riding again. And what we're actually going to transition to now, this next one might be a bit weird, because I'm actually filming 2 videos today. And while I film fixing the long and low, I'm actually filming a video of how to fix your jumps. And so that'll probably come out after this one, I think. So this time lapse might be a bit funky and a little bit different to the usual one, but we'll hop into fixing this up now and look forward to next week, a video on how to fix your own jumps. There we go, team. The straight long and low over the fence is finished. Massive effort to get this thing done. Like, just took heaps of time, but well worth it. It's the best it's ever looked. And obviously there's a couple things to do, like scraping that moss and fixing the flat bottom down there and it's dry, but those will only take 10 minutes. And then once that's done, the long and low and the resi are ready to ride. We'll be able to get some sessions in real soon, which I'm very excited about. And now I hope the time lapse sort of made sense and flowed nicely, but I think it was really worthwhile doing it the way I did it, just to make sure I got that video done last week of how to fix your own dirt jumps. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you click the I in the description here. I'll put a link in this video to show you how to fix your jumps, because I'm going to show people how to do that for ages, and I think it was well worth sort of breaking up this one. And now to give you guys a time gauge of where we're up to now, we are about 10 hours in now, 10 hours of work in. So it took about an hour and a half to fix the resi landing, this maybe 3 hours, and then this about 5 hours. And that's so that 10 hours actually includes like 45 minutes of sitting around where I took my break, I guess, but I think you have to equate that into the equation when fixing jumps, because it just takes forever and you got to be well rested. And so what we're going to do now is, it's about 4 o'clock on the second day here, so I'm already into day 2. I was going to fix this long and low lip today, the hipped one, but I don't think I will, just it's really wet and the clay paw's quite wet, so I'm going to wait till a couple days till it's drier to tidy this up. What we're going to do to finish off today's effort, or this section of the video, is I'm going to fix up this drain here. So this drain was made by Joe Kerr, shout out to him. It's for the water that runs off this landing here, comes down here, and then it goes underneath into this culvert here. And so I don't know how well you guys can see, you probably can't see anything there, but this culvert is very overfilled with dirt. Actually, yeah, if you look there, how much mud and dirt there is there. So I want to scrape this thing out again, get it flowing better as a last effort for today. And then after that, we'll get into fixing that long and low hip and then move to the big landing. All right, team, I've made a massive muddy mess here. We're gonna have to wait for a couple of weeks of dry weather to dry this out so I can rake it and slap it back in, but won't take long once it's dry. But the drain is back in place, and as you can see, the water is flowing all the way from the top right down back through the culvert, which has been unblocked again, underneath the runway for the hip, and flowing out of here all the way downstream out into the paddock. So I am chuffed on that, really stoked to have that drain done. It's another thing off the list. What we're going to do in a second here, we'll transition into day 3 of fixing the jumps, and we'll see you at the hip. Alright team, that marks the end of day 3. Another lip done. The hip long and low is looking super good. Got a nice back, top, left side, right side, and the edge is looking super nice. Super shiny and smooth and buttered up again. And after, you know, a week or two of sun, this thing is gonna be good to go to send it over there. So super happy with that. Also off camera today, I quickly gave this one here a quick tidy up. You can sort of see that, gave it another rough slap up and fixed at the back a little bit so it's cracked. And I also gave this long and low landing entire slap again from top to bottom. It's probably hard to see in the light now. I decided to give another slap just to try and get it a little bit harder. And it is hardening up. That bit there soft. I'll try and knock on a bit in the sun. Like you can already hear that. It's becoming rock hard, which I'm stoked about. So to be honest, another really good week of sun on this. And on the straight long and low, this thing should be ready to jump. I'll still need to tidy up the flat bottom. Like I got a little bit better today, but it's still a bit of a mess. But that's only a 10-minute job when it's dry. Additionally, today, off camera on day 3, stuff that I did only took like 10 minutes, but I also fixed up the flat bottom here and scraped all the moss off the running. So as soon as it's dry, this one will be ready to go. Probably at least another week of sun or 2 weeks before that happens. And there's 5 days of sun in the forecast, and it's meant to rain next weekend. So not sure I'll ride it, but lots of sun and a bit of rain is perfect. And finally, I also did a bit more work on this drain. So you would remember about 2 minutes ago in the video, this was super wet. Now, sort of 48 hours later, it's starting to harden up and become less soft. So soon this will be ready to go again, which I'm super excited for. But overall stoked on that. And check out that view already. So this took probably today 3 hours. So we're about 12-13 hours in, and we've done 1-2 lips, a massive landing, and the resi landing. What I'm thinking we'll do next is we'll probably move on to the big landing here and then do the berm last. So we'll transition into that big landing now. All right team, day 4 of this tidy up and rebuild. So to show you guys a couple of things before we get onto the landing that I did off camera. So off camera, I came here a couple of days ago and fixed up this whole flat bottom, got rid of all the moss, raked it over and got it looking pretty smooth, doing the foot shuffle thing like this, which I'm pretty happy with. The drain and stuff is super dry now, like super hard packed, which is awesome. Gave this the hip long and low just another wee tidy up because it was really cracked and dry here. It actually might need a third one. This is way better than what it was the other day. The other day, like, it was all peeling, so let's give this another wee touch up. As you can see, it's pretty hard already. But then if you come over to the long and low landing, this thing, super hard, like that's like concrete now. And I fixed up most of the flat bottom here. I didn't do in between here and the ramp yet because it is forecast to rain heaps over the weekend, coming in a couple of days, potentially even snow. So what's going to happen after I fix up that line, I'm just going to put the tarps back over everything to keep it protected. And then when there's another few dry days again, I'll probably do this bit because I thought there's not really much point, so a lot of water is going to go down here anyway, so do that another time. So I would say all those extra bits I did, like filling in the flat bottom there, tidying up the hip long and low, and tidying up this big bit of flat bottom, probably adds another 2 hours to the time we're at. So I think that puts us at about, let's say 15 hours I think total we've been working here, which is actually mind-boggling. That's how long jumps take. And we're going to continue the trend by getting into this landing here. So I'll show you guys quickly what this landing looks like. So where the tarp was, it's actually pretty good. Like, it's a bit messy, but like 100% could be rideable. The only bits that are a bit rough are this edge that was untarped. I mean, like on the top here, it's actually still pretty hard. Like, it's a little bit rough, but not bad. And this edge where it was untarped, and like the side where it just crumbly as. But I think because there's so much spare dirt down the bottom there and around this side here, one benefit of this landing, I'm not gonna have to wheelbarrow dirt over. So what we're gonna do to start, and I'm just gonna rake this thing over, get it all raked so it's sort of even surface, then hose it and then slap it. And I think that's all we're gonna have to do. I'm actually expecting this one's gonna be a lot quicker than it was the first time I did it. So what we'll do, we'll jump back in the build laps right now, fixing this thing up. Alright team, just taking a quick pause from the time lapse to show you guys how well the car worked at smoothing this out. Like, I cannot believe how smooth this landing looks. Like, by far the smoothest it's ever been, like times 10. You know, like last winter I did it up, and when I finished, like, it was so soft, you know, like you could probably sink your like feet into it. And now this thing is super hard and looking super good. So I'm absolutely chuffed that I decided last minute to try and roll it with the car, and because it was dry enough but the dirt did have a tiny bit of moisture, it worked. I'm so chuffed with that. So pro tip, work smarter, not harder. Use your car to roll your landings if it's suitable. The only thing you'd want to do different than what I did with my car's got quite big chunky tires. If you've got a vehicle with smoother tires, that works real good too. What we're going to do now is just need to do this side, that side, and dig some stairs out here for my wife Rebecca when she takes photos. Then we'll be done. So we'll get back in the time lapse and finish up day 4. Sweet team, that is going to do it for the big landing. This side's all done. The front edge is done so well. The front edge has never looked this good, and like, it's rock hard just from rolling with the car. So stoked from that. I've got to show before rolling this with the car also hardened this up heaps, so really chuffed with that. This edge is looking good, and we got the steps at the side for ease of access for digging, ease of access for photos, and hopefully keep my wife Becca happy because she wanted some stairs, and they work pretty good. Up to here, all done. Didn't bother doing the back of the case pegs. It's still in pretty good condition. Honestly, this back edge doesn't make a difference to how it rides. Neither does the case pad really. Might do it again sometime, but not today. One last look at that. Like, look how smooth this is. This is gonna be so good to be able to session this ramp. That jump in the resi, it's all so smooth, the smoothest it's ever been. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to show you guys, but it is meant to snow potentially over the weekend, which is 2 days away. So I'm going to readjust the tarps, pull the tarp back up over this and over those things to keep it safe. Then we'll see you for day 5 of fixing these things up and fixing the berm, which should hopefully be the last day. And so let's quickly check the time to tell you how long today's taken. Today has added another, this landing took 3.5 hours to do, so onto the 15-hour total. I think it's 15 hours, so I guess with filming and messing around, we'll say we're up to 18 hours total by the time we got to this. So we're 18 hours in now. We'll see you for day 5 and see what the total hours is. Hopefully we can do it in around 24. All right team, day 5 of the rebuild. The snow and the big storm has been and gone, and thankfully, as you can probably see, all the tarps stayed on. I did have to adjust that one a little bit in the wind, but it wasn't too bad. And I'm really chuffed about that because there's 120k winds, or 120k gusts, sorry, which is about as windy as it gets here. And if the tarps stay on in that one, it means they're gonna stay on all the time, which I'm chuffed about. And it is actually already only 4 days since it snowed, super dry. And so today's plan is fix the berm, finish up the video with the berm. And as you can see there, like how much water is inside this tarp. Like, that gives you a bit of perspective of how much it actually did really snow. Like, look at all that water. So I am chuffed all the stuff stayed on, it kept it reasonably protected. So what we're gonna do, instead of messing around, because we don't have much time, get straight into the time lapse, try and bang this out in under 24 hours, the total rebuild. And so we'll start on the berm now. All right, team, my knees are weak. My arms definitely feel heavy. My back flipping hurts. The skin on my fingers is so dry and so cracked. My shoes are caked in mud and toast, and I am just so tired and could probably eat 5 plates of mutton spaghetti. But this berm is finished, and the first part of this complete rebuild is also done. So let's start with this berm. Check out how good this thing looks. All the way from the exit to the start, smooth as. Like, look at that edge over there along there. Just straight up peanut butter. If you're a fan of peanut butter, like, just imagine how many pieces of peanut butter toast this is. This is probably like peanut buttering on 1,000 bits of peanut butter toast. I don't know, it's a weird analogy, but anyway, like, this thing just looks sick. Check it out there, like in the sort of fading light. I am so stoked with this berm. Did the top part as well, and like, it is a little bit wet right now. It's a bit wetter this year compared to last year when I fixed it, but it looks really good. The flat bottom will probably need another rake still, because it's just a little bit too wet in here. I gave it a little one, but I think in a future video or just my own time, I will give this a rake and a smooth it when it's drier. And off camera, I also started smoothing out this run in here, and that'll be another thing I'll finish as well before our next ride. But real chuffed on this. Like, this thing just looks amazing. And so the total time on this, so yesterday was Thursday, I spent about 1.5 hours getting the tarp off and prepping this thing, and then today I spent 4 hours on it, so all at 5.5 hours. And the total I was up to before I count here is 18.5. So overall it has taken 24 hours to rebuild the entire line from the berm, blue ramp, big slopes of jump, hip long and low, straight long and low, and the resi. 24 hours on the dot, which is kind of crazy, actually, kind of cool. And like, not cool for my back and my body because I am tired, but kind of cool. It equates to exactly 24 hours. And so you may be thinking it's not a total rebuild. You didn't rebuild the pump bumps, the dirt spine. And so that will be in a future video what's happening here, but I'm thinking couple of new jumps here. Gonna get a digger in from South and Higher soon and redo this whole section, make the jumps further up the hill. We have to stay tuned for a future video for that. And now this video is coming to a close, and I'd love to give you guys a complete walk from top to bottom, everything that's redone, but I am gonna leave the tarps on everything down there. The reason for that is we're still in early spring, and there could still be a couple weeks of heavy rains, or a couple heavy rains to go. And I just want to really give it the time to set that it needs so I can ride more this year and dig less. I'm not gonna tarp the berm, because the berm, well, I might tarp it like another day. I'm not going to tarp in this video. The reason for that is I just want to get a little bit of rain on it, just to kind of so everything soaks in a bit better, because there's a couple that are a bit dry, and it'll hopefully wash away some of that like yucky bottom bit. But I'm real stoked on that. And because I can't show you a like whole thing top to bottom, what I'm going to do now is run a compilation of just photos and wee clips, or just photos, not too sure what it'll be. I'm going to run a wee compilation now of everything completely buttered up in its prime. So let's get into that now. Awesome. One last look at how my jump's looking right now. They've never looked better. I cannot wait to ride all this line, the smoothest it's ever been in a couple of weeks. And so if you made it this far into the video, you're an absolute legend. Actually, leave a comment below now. This is probably a 25-30 minute video from my guess. Leave a comment if you made it this far, so I know who like the real ones are. I know who my top subs are. You guys are legends. This does mark the end of the video. The next video out here will 100% be on my bike. We will be on a digger really soon, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see me riding these, making more jumps. Share this video around, like the video. Really appreciate you give the video a like and got the views up, and subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, team. Really appreciate it. Cheers.